Spotify made 2.2 billion euros in profit last year. You think that came from selling you music? Almost none of it did. For 15 years, selling music made Spotify nothing. The profit came from somewhere else. Quick thing, because it changes how you hear this. Spotify isn't American, it's European, based in Luxembourg, a country smaller than Rhode Island. So it counts its money in euros, not dollars. A euro is worth roughly $1.15. So that 2.2 billion euro profit, about 2.5 billion US dollars. I'll give you both as we go. Here's what most people believe. You pay Spotify. Spotify pays the artists. Spotify keeps a little on top. And that's fair enough. Almost 9 out of every 10 euros Spotify makes comes from subscriptions like yours. But here's the problem. For most of its life, Spotify barely kept a cent. In 2023, it actually lost money. 446 million euros, gone. Same songs, same subscribers, a loss. So where did a 2.2 billion euro profit suddenly come from? Think of a toll booth on a bridge. The booth doesn't build the cars. It doesn't build the road. It just sits in the middle and takes a cut of everyone who crosses. That's Spotify. It doesn't make the music. It sits between you and the artist and takes the gap. So here's the real answer. Spotify makes its money from that gap. The difference between what you pay and what it pays the labels. Out of every euro you hand over, about 68 cents goes straight back out to rights holders. Spotify's whole game is shrinking that number. In 2 years it did. That's the profit, not the music, the gap. Go back to 2023. Spotify is huge, 500 million users, and it's losing money. So it makes a cold decision. Stop chasing growth, start chasing the gap. Here's the number that matters. In 2023, Spotify kept about 25 cents of gross profit out of every euro. By 2025, it kept 32. That's from their own annual report, 7 cents. Doesn't sound like much, but Spotify pulls in 17 billion euros a year. That's about $19 billion. 7 cents on every euro is over $1 billion. So how? First, they raised the price. The average subscriber went from €4.57 a month to €4.89. You barely noticed. Spotify noticed, because the royalty it owes is mostly a percentage. Raise the price, and a big slice of that raise is close to pure profit. Then they stopped spending. They cut around 2,300 jobs. Costs came down while the money went up, from a €446 million loss, about $500 million, to a €2.2 billion profit. Same company. New math. Now look inside Spotify at 2 versions of the same app. There's Premium, the one you pay for, and there's Free, the one with ads. Free is the famous one. It's how Spotify took over the world. Anyone can listen for nothing, but watch what Free actually makes. Free brings in about 11 out of every 100 euros Spotify earns. It produces only 6 out of every 100 euros of profit. Go back to 2023 and it's almost funny. The free tier brought in 1.7 billion euros. It kept 62 million. That's under 4 cents on the euro. Now Premium. Same app, minus the ads. Premium keeps about 34 cents of gross profit on every euro. Free keeps about 19. Same songs, same phone, same customer. Premium keeps nearly twice as much on every single euro. The version everyone praises barely pays. The version you forget you're paying for carries the whole company. Now compare it to a rival, Apple Music, same songs, different math. Apple reportedly pays artists about a penny a stream. Spotify pays roughly 1/3 of that. Apple can afford to. It gives music away to sell iPhones. For Spotify, there is no iPhone. The gap is the whole business. Now the part buried in the fine print. Spotify found a way to get the artist to pay it. 3 steps. Step 1. An artist wants their song pushed, put in front of you by the algorithm. Step 2. To get that push, they let Spotify pay them a smaller royalty on those plays. They take less to be heard more. Step 3. Spotify pays out less and keeps the difference. That discount is pure profit. Back to the toll booth. The artist doesn't just cross the bridge. They slip the booth a little extra to skip the line. Spotify's own report calls it discounts provided by rights holders in return for promotional activities. Nobody talks about it because it's 5 boring words in a filing. It sounds like pay for play. It isn't illegal. It's just the gap getting wider. So if this works so well, why doesn't everyone do it? 1 word. Size. An artist only agrees to take less money if your platform is big enough to matter. With 300 million paying subscribers, Spotify is too big to say no to. Apple and Amazon don't even try. They give music away to sell phones and boxes. A small app has no leverage. The labels would laugh. You have to be enormous before the artist will pay you. Spotify got enormous first. Here's the rule underneath all of this. The money is almost never in the thing you're buying. It's in the space between you and the person who made it. That 2.2 billion euros we started with, about $2.5 billion, it didn't come from the music. It came from the gap. Spotify doesn't sell songs. It sells the space in between. More companies, same treatment. Subscribe.